So the fact that we can now do this on chain and, spin up, like, our Bearchain Boyko vault spun up $380 million of liquidity in like a month, to be actively used on chain by a professional actor on the back end. That is like really, really impressive. I mean, that's how DeFi becomes much more liquid than CeFi. And I think people haven't fully priced that in.
I was going to say right now, but if you go back to one of our early conversations about just DeFi and everything, what she said as well is something that I literally just thought of because, I've been a business owner for, over 8 years now, and understanding how to scale, what it takes in your first, 12 to 24 months of running a business, it's all about cash flow. Now, I feel like, with what she just said, even more now, they are definitely going to start, utilizing DeFi as part of the equation of a startup business. And that's like, I'm telling you, there's going to come in so many different shapes and forms. But what she just said right now, too, like it literally solidifies all of that. So DeFi is where it's at, man.
I want to kind of get into the institutional perspective because we need to full circle to something where I wrote down that institutions and retail are both going to have equal access to a certain degree. Obviously, of course, institutions will always have their upper hand somehow, some shape or form, right? But either way, to some degree, right now, we as retail investors are able to a certain degree operate on an institutional level or access things that institutions to a certain sense are accessing, right? So this is just to show you guys that institutions are generating yield on chain. This is from a week ago from Securitize, right? And you guys just heard, I don't remember if it was Christine Moy or if it was Stacey Warden or the other gentleman. One of them mentioned, having their securitized debit card and generating yield, with a certain portion of their portfolio in ENA or in USDC or whatever their money market fund or their BUIDL fund, and then they can go and they can spend their assets. So I'm showing you guys physical proof that they're already doing this. That's why I'm trying to encourage you guys, stop slacking. Like, don't think that you can't do it. No. They're just not telling you that you can. They're not going to come out and be like, hey guys, hello, what's up? Everybody come on into DeFi. Come on, come try it. You're not going to see a fucking commercial on Netflix or Disney Plus or whatever the heck the zombies are watching right now that this is happening. You have to learn it. Okay. In April, the BlackRock USD Institutional Digital Liquidity Fund issued via Securitize distributed a record-breaking $7.9 million in daily, not monthly, daily dividend payouts. That means that on a daily basis, these institutions that are participating in these on-chain yield events that are taking place, these BlackRock BUIDLs, there's many others out there, right? Generated $7.9 million per day in April. That is huge. And this is nothing compared to what's coming. The new largest monthly payout ever recorded by any tokenized treasury fund. Since launch, BUIDL has now paid out over $33.3 plus million in dividends, underscoring the growing demand for institutional grade on-chain yield. You see that right there, right? Okay, so again, there's a certain degree of retail investors that make content on the internet that'll show you and give you their perspective on price trajectory and this and that. No. We're physically showing you guys right now that they are doing this. They're talking about it on stage. It is for a fact happening in real time and coming. Buckle up. Like, it's time to nut up and stop thinking that we're living in 2022. We're in 2025, full swing. 5 more years is about to be 2030, and the wave is coming. And if you don't ride it properly, you're going to get wiped out, the surfboard right from under your feet. And there's no freaking jet ski coming to pick you up out of the waters once you're drowning. I'm telling you right now. I'm telling you guys right now, how can you save yourself? How can you give yourself a lifeboat? Education. Just like any other field or industry that you would dabble in, right? You want to be a professional basketball player, you're going to go through high school, college, you're going to get drafted, you're going to have to go through training, right? Then you become a professional. If you want to be a doctor, what do you got to do? Go to school for years. You got to train. If you want to be a millionaire, it's not just going to happen to you overnight. You have to train for this shit physically, wake up every single day, hustle, grind, connect, network with the right people, make the right financial decisions, change your mentality. It is not just, oh, okay, here we go, I'm gonna wake up, millionaire? No, not at all. Check this out. So this is another fundamental piece here showing you guys institutional access, retail access on the same level. April 24th, 2025. So what, a month and a half ago, maybe a couple, month and some days old. It says here, a leading blockchain ecosystem at the forefront of decentralized finance, DeFi, with over $3 billion in TVL locked across its core products, today announced the launch of Mantle Index 4. MI4 fills a key market gap and institutional grade crypto product with native yield generation. Structured as a BVI limited partnership and managed by Mantle Guard Limited, a newly established investment layer. Keep in mind, it says a newly established investment layer. MI4 combines regulated fund architecture with decentralized yield strategies. Investors gain streamlined exposure to a curated basket of major assets: Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and USD. This is huge. This is physical proof that from an institutional level, somewhere, some shape or form, there's a document that we are missing. DeFi is fucking regulated, y'all. Like, people keep saying DeFi is not regulated. DeFi is not regulated. No, it is. They're just not telling y'all that it is. You understand? I'm telling you, look at this. This is right here. It says MI4 combines a regulated fund architecture. I'm not making that up. It says it right here. A regulated fund architecture with decentralized yield strategies where investors can gain streamlined exposure to a curated basket of major assets: Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and USD. And I'm sure that eventually, over time, they're going to enable so many more. But right now, I've shown you guys physical proof. You can go and stake Solana. Again, some protocols, if you're staking Solana, or some wallets, you obviously, of course, have to deal with security issues on their end and so on and so forth. But we, as retail investors, can go and earn yield on these same digital assets right now: Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and USDC right now. So if they're doing it under regulated conditions, what's stopping us? Nothing. You see what I'm saying? Like, this is crazy that people still think that this is not to some degree regulated. They're just not telling y'all. If we come over here, I got another, I'll go over one more proof, right? Check this out. So this is Lombard launching recently on Soy. This is back from March 5th, 2025. Let's pay attention to the highlights. It says LBTC, which is, I believe, a liquid staking version of Bitcoin, right? So if you deploy into this platform, you get LBTC back, and you can then go out and participate in the DeFi ecosystem with that LBTC, if I'm not mistaken. Am I correct, Aqua, to some degree about that? I don't know off the top of my head. You're muted.
My bad. Say that one more time, brother. My bad.
I'm pretty sure we're going to hear from the gentleman in a second. I have a few video clips, but LBTC, if I'm not mistaken, is the liquid version of Bitcoin that you get for staking on this platform. They give you LBTC if you participate in this platform.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure too. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so I'm just trying to get the audience who does not know aware in a way that, okay, so LBTC is now available on Soy, bringing the first institutional grade liquid staked Bitcoin to one of the fastest growing layer one ecosystems. With LBTC, institutional and retail users, says right there, institutions and retail users can mint LBTC natively from BTC on Soy. Bridge LBTC from EVM chains. Keep in mind, XRP is integrating PeerSys and EVM sidechain. We already went over that at the beginning of this call. And access lending and borrowing and liquidity opportunities with speed, security, and efficiency of Soy. Exactly what Aqua was talking about, where these institutions now have the ability to use these digital assets, take out collateral against them, okay, and utilize that collateral. Like, this is crazy.
What protocol is this? Because it's on the Sui chain, but what protocol is this? Yeah. Did it say?
It's Lombard.
Lombard. Interesting. Okay. Have we?
So let me continue.
Have we looked at it? Like the
yeah, bro. The researchers. Okay. The researchers. I got this document from Osmar, from one of the head researchers in CYPRX. So check this out. To continue, it says with LBTC live now. So it is live. I'm not making this up. You can go, utilize this now. It already told you both institutions and retail investors can do this. So I'm full circling now to full proof that we're not just, this is not our opinion. It says you can stake native BTC to mint LBTC directly on Soy, providing users with liquidity without having to sell Bitcoin. You see it right there, right? How many times have me and Aqua told you guys that we're entering into an era where these institutions, they're not going to be selling a portion of their assets, because not all institutions are buy and sell and arbitrage assets where they trade. Some of these institutions just want to think about it. What do central banks do? They hoard what? Gold, right? They have literal stockpiles of freaking gold and freaking bunkers, nuclear bunkers and cellars. That y'all understand they're about to have freaking custody, freaking wallets and nuclear bunkers with crypto on them too, that are protected from quantum computers. That's what we're going into. When that crypto is sitting on those wallets, on those cold storage wallets, on these institutions that just want to hoard, okay, they don't want it just sitting there doing nothing. They want it there collecting yield, right? This is nuts that this is happening. So many people are sleeping on this. Go ahead, Aqua.
Yo, I just want I've been on this platform as well. I've checked it out before in the past, Lombard. I don't hold, BTC at the moment, but what if you want to share your screen and just go to Lombard Finance and go to the vaults real quick and just share with everybody these
I'm gonna let you do it.
value. Okay. Oh, hold on. Let me just copy and paste it into my Google Chrome because I got it over here on my Safari. Hold on. Copy, paste it. I just want you guys to see these total value locks. These total value locks are mad real. They are massive too. These are like some of the biggest vaults I've ever seen, actually. Look at these total value locks. Hold on.
While you're getting your stuff pulled up, real fast, let's just take an intermission while you're getting your stuff pulled up. I got about 5 or 6 more tabs to share with you guys today and a couple more video clips. But real fast, while Aqua's pulling his stuff up, shout out to everybody on the chat today. Shout out to everybody in the call. Really do appreciate you all for tapping in. We got 1,400 listeners tapping in with us on Fridays. Remember, we're going to be doing these Friday calls moving forward. We are quite absent because of personal endeavors in the month of April. Full swing back into the Friday calls. So make sure that you guys tune in with us. If you've been enjoying the call, maybe you're listening to this as a recording on YouTube, do us a favor, smash that thumbs up button and subscribe. Always delivering you all the realest information, really trying to generate crypto content on the internet for users that are in this space that is not opinionated. And if it is opinionated, we have facts to back our opinions to show you guys that we are moving in tide with the financial institutions and the wave that is actually happening behind the scenes, really attempting to be long-term market participants and not delivering quick fix, dopamine spikes, right? If you guys want to tap in with us here at CYPRX, you've enjoyed the content, this is maybe your first time hearing about CYPRX, guys and gals, I'm telling you all right now, we are winning. We are winning. We are ahead of the curve. And you all can tap in with us, right? Like-minded community. If you want to join, want to tap in, head over to CYPRXtrading.com. You can see the banner right there. Type it in your browser. Just go read about us. Come check us out if you're interested in learning more. We obviously, of course, run monthly subscriptions. You guys can always tap in for a month. If you don't like what it is that you're learning, what it is that we're providing in the private community, you can always cancel your subscription. So come tap in with us. The Discord's always popping. We have 2 to maybe even 6 weekly Zoom calls every single week, keeping our community ahead of the curve. Whole entire suite of DeFi university course material in the Wealth 28 Club for you guys to see how we are earning yield on our digital assets, putting our live accounts on the risk and showing you guys the money that we're making, the money that we're losing. In our live Zoom calls, we're literally going over strategies that we're participating in. One of our DeFi mentors literally freaking blew my mind over the past month, where he was able to maintain a rising equity curve during some of the biggest liquidation events in crypto volatility that we've ever seen, by lending and borrowing against his assets and moving them around in such a way where he's always generating yield, even when the market is seeing blood red. And he taught that to our entire private community on weekly Zoom calls. So tap in with us, you guys and gals. We're doing things in the market that most other participants aren't, always delivering you guys some of the realest insights. That's the intermission real fast. Aqua, go ahead. Back to this platform, Lombard, liquid Bitcoin staking.
Yeah, so this is real. Like, look at this total value lock, 716 million. This first DeFi vault basically has 178, damn near 180 million dollars total value locked. This is real money. This other one right here, 82 million. There was another one down here that's already closed. It basically expired, I guess. 369 million total value locked. This is real money right here. This is not play money right here.
Sorry, I was muted. I didn't see that. So I don't want to dig into this platform too much because we'll sit here and we'll click around. But this is, you got to understand too that albeit, yes, this is retail participants, but to a certain degree, your average retail participant doesn't have $25 million laying under a rug operating in these protocols or on these platforms. This is I found the video of his name is Jacob Phillips from Lombard. This is from 1 day ago. Let me share my screen real quick, because since we're on the topic of double digit yields, I take notes on all the videos that I have. Honest to God, the suite of research videos that I was sharing with you yesterday when I walked you through, what the heck? Hold on. When I walked you through yesterday how to access the research video logs in the playlist that I've made of all these videos that nobody pays attention to. Well, bro, the researchers have been dropping so many gems lately, and they came across this staking conference that took place, and wow, I mean, it literally just happened a couple days ago, and there's so much happening in DeFi even I didn't know about that's taking place under the hood, and it's crazy. We're about to see a huge DeFi summer, bro. Like, as soon as we see this rollover and a lot of these regulations come into force over the next couple of months, this year and next year are going to be prime time for DeFi protocols, DeFi, digital assets, blockchains, and native networks that don't have DeFi that are integrating it now. It's going to be insane to watch this stuff grow over the coming maybe like year to 2 years. I'd say 12 to 18 months is prime time to just be tapped into what's happening in DeFi. Check this out. So let's listen to what he says. Let me look at my notes. So the first one I have here at 19 minutes and 40 seconds, he says the next step in Bitcoin DeFi right now is on the table here. Let's listen to this real fast, and then we'll unpack it.
The introduction of Babylon as this like neutral base layer for Bitcoin staking was going to garner a lot of attention. And like, I mean, obviously we had this thesis. We didn't need to rely only on that because we could observe it in market. I mean, you had I think you had 3 of the 4 biggest mining pools running nodes on testnet. You had some of the biggest market makers. All of the biggest node operators that I can think of were running nodes on testnet. So it's like Babylon had already sort of begun to commandeer the attention of the Bitcoin community in a really big way. And so, I mean, we were looking at this and it was like, wow, I don't think there has been a time in Bitcoin DeFi's history where there has been this much excitement around doing literally anything with your Bitcoin on chain. So, and the second people take the step going from my Bitcoin is in cold storage and never is going to take on any risk, now to step 1 of I'm going to do the minimal amount of risk I possibly can with this asset, which in this case is like non-custodial staking with Babylon. Steps 2, 3, 4, and 5 are now within conversation. In DeFi somewhere we were like, oh, hey, come do some really complex DeFi activity that takes on all this risk with brand new smart contracts. Take your digital gold and slap it there. No chance people are going to, I mean, it's not even worth having that conversation because the likelihood of onboarding, capital at scale is not there. We were able to have, I mean, once you had the introduction of Bitcoin staking in a way that people were comfortable with, the ability for us to upsell there was much easier. So in this case, it was like there were already existing issues with Babylon staking that people were looking to avoid, particularly the issue of having your liquidity locked for 7 days with no answer. So we sort of created a solution for this, and then also allowed you to multiply your yield if you're willing to go explore other yield opportunities. And maybe the one other
bro, it's like so much to unpack there. He's literally saying word for word we've been talking about this entire call. We're transitioning to an era where people are realizing, oh shit, there's a portion of my crypto that I'm willing to risk. And like, I was looking at another statistic. The average DeFi investor right now has about $10,000 invested into DeFi, right? So, I'm not saying that everybody here on this call has $10,000, but if your portfolio is in the 6 figures and you got $10,000 of your assets just sitting there doing absolutely nothing that you're willing to risk, like, you do a risk calculation. You're like, I'm willing to expose this amount of money of my portfolio, or maybe even willing to start, stop. Okay, again, not financial advice, but this is the way that I started to think of it when I got into DeFi. Instead of using the assets that I already had in cold storage, I was like, you know what? I'm not willing to risk the XRP that I have, but what I am willing to do is buy new XRP, right? That I don't put into my cold storage wallet, that I start to dabble around in DeFi with and start to learn, right? And so I'm not risking my cold storage. I'm going to hold for 50 years XRP. I'm building a whole entire new DeFi portfolio. And when I started to do that and detach my mindset from buy and hodl, I still buy and hodl, But there's also now a portion of my capital that I'm investing into the space that I was like, I'm going to open myself to DeFi. And bro, I'm so excited and happy that I did, because over the past 2 years that we've been running this and trying to show people this is crazy, man, the rising equity curve has been bananas, absolutely bananas.
Printing, bro, printing.
So I got another video here. It's this gentleman again. He's the CEO of co-founder. Excuse me. I don't know if he's the CEO, so I apologize. He's the co-founder of Lombard Finance, which is this organization that we just went over that's offering liquid staking on Bitcoin through the Soy network. By the way, for anybody listening, just because you don't hold Bitcoin, like, that's fine. I'm just utilizing this as an example. We have to understand that this is coming to most chains, if not all of them, like especially chains that a lot of our followers, or digital assets, excuse me, that a lot of our followers most likely invest in or know about. Excuse me, XDC, XLM, XRP, Quant, all these utility digital assets that we've been stockpiling for years now, HBAR, so many others, Flare. That's coming for all of them. And so when he's talking about, waking up idle Bitcoin, think about all the XRP whales. I mean, you can go see the wallets. Most things in the space are transparent. You can go see the dormant XRP and track these wallets and look at how much XRP in these wallets is just sitting there dormant. Well, I'm telling you right now, mark my words, over the next year to 2 years, you track those same wallets, you're going to start to see portions of that XRP move. Mark my freaking words. I promise you guys with 110% certainty and confidence in that statement, if you do track whale wallets, you will start to see portions of XRP distributed into DeFi protocols and turn into yield generating XRP. Mark my freaking words, over the next 12 to 18 months. Anyways, so this dude here, Aku, you're shaking your head. Did you want to add to that?
No, I'm just agreeing with you, brother.
So he says here, market makers, they're starting to tap in, and when institutions start to come in a nutshell, the market has not priced that in yet, right? So listen to what he says here.
These vaults are the core to,
mind you, by the way, sorry, so for context, Aqua, the reason why I'm playing this video is because Aqua just showed you guys, he showed you Lombard Finance, and what Aqua just said to you all was that, this is not some like funny money. This is not retail money. He was showing you guys the amounts, 300 million here, 200 million there, 100 million there, right? That's why this is important, because this guy, this co-founder, Jacob Phillips, he's starting to talk. He talks about these vaults, right? So listen to what he says.
Deposit into Boyko vaults. This all sort of came from, I think, some of our lead, or maybe people wouldn't agree with me on that, but certainly felt like we started that a little bit. And yeah, I mean, I think you were spot on in the way that you framed it, which is every ecosystem looked at the success of Berachain and is trying to replicate that in some way. I think people are learning from it. People are setting fixed APYs on top of vaults. They are restricting the amount of capital that can come into the ecosystem to start, so that they don't end up with a ton of idle liquidity. But I think the precedent that was set by Bera is undeniable. And yeah, and just generally, I think these vaults are the core to capital efficiency within DeFi. The fact that there was ever retail deploying into a market making strategy on chain, like UniV2, or trying to place liquidity like UniV3, is kind of hilarious. The fact that we now have, basically professional market makers directing liquidity into really efficient strategies is like a step function improvement in capital efficiency, I think, for all of DeFi. And frankly, this is like the way DeFi wins. It's kind of funny. It's like if I'm even like a big fund like Polychain, and I want to loan capital to a market maker to then let them run a market making strategy, we've got to go through this like massive docs process. There's only like a few funds who can actually do this, because the market makers aren't going to like take everyone seriously. They can't go through the docs process and KYC with just anyone. So the fact that we can now do this on chain and spin up, like our Berachain Boyko vault spun up $380 million of liquidity in like a month to be actively used on chain by a professional actor on the back end, that is like really, really impressive. I mean, that's how DeFi becomes much more liquid than CeFi. And I think people haven't fully priced that in.
Yo, drops the mic. He literally just said a professional actor on the back end was able to enter into these vaults and generate millions of dollars in a month. And now that's all changing, and people have not priced that in.
That is wild, bro. That is wild. And that was the same vault that I touched on, that I showed, that I highlighted.
If you think I'm making this stuff up after that, click off this video, stop watching CYPRX. Like, just, I don't know what to tell you guys and gals. Like, watch us for real tangible proof. Don't watch us because we're talking about XRP, or we're talking about XLM, or we're talking about HBAR. All the other influencers are talking about those assets because they want price appreciation on them. Fuck that. That's cool. I get that, right? Price appreciation is great. I'm a day trader. I love it when the markets are going up, right? Let's put that aside and let's tap into the fact that if you've been holding XRP for freaking years like I have, I'm about to wake that XRP up to a certain degree, right? A portion of it that I'm willing to expose. Once XRP is $5, $10, $20, you think I'm going to sell it for fiat? Heck no. I'm going to be earning 10% yield on that joint, chilling, relaxing, paying myself every day with the XRP that I freaking battled to hold mentally over the past 5 years. You know, wow. This is just such a crazy time to be alive. Crazy time to be alive. And the fact that he said that none of that's priced in yet is immense, bro. Last one. Since we were talking on the topic of double-digit yields, and we showed that, you know, that post from Flare Networks where they're talking about the same thing. Listen to what he says about a future when asked the question, you know, do you think we're going to see double-digit yields?
I couldn't agree more. And as somebody who works a lot with new protocols, when they're onboarded, when they are bootstrapping, when they are going live, I found it really, really refreshing to see that shift. And it's something
I wouldn't necessarily say it's easy, though we've seen a lot of creativity in the market to estimate what rewards will look like in different forms. But maybe I can focus just on the DeFi reward. So the easiest observable market rate is the DeFi rewards. You know, you can earn, I think on Pendle, traditionally the rates have been at like 7 or 8% yield, indicative of a full suite of yield that the asset is producing. Morpho, I think you've seen Bitcoin lending rates at 4 or 5% typically. So this is like very fundamental real yield, and we haven't even cracked the surface of what Bitcoin DeFi yield could look like. Bitcoin DeFi basis trading vaults, which we spun up with Derive, and will hopefully be expanding quite significantly. These have the potential to earn, you know, easily double-digit yields, if not higher. I mean, you can kind of think of this as like Bitcoin's version of Athena, though Athena is predominantly backed by Bitcoin. There's a ton of DeFi basis trading vaults, which we spun up with Derive, and will hopefully be expanding quite significantly. These have the potential to earn, you know, easily double-digit yields, if not higher. I mean, you can kind of think of this as like Bitcoin.
Easy double-digit yields, if not higher, bro.
Yeah, the fact that he said if not higher, that's pretty wild. That means there's going to be, there's going to be a huge splash in DeFi that has not been done yet, guys, for sure. Again,
another reason why I'm trying to show you all is because think of all the people on Twitter that you follow that are like, oh, DeFi is not regulated. DeFi, they yap like little fucking babies, yo, little ignorant children. Okay, listen, people. He said a second ago that professional market makers are using his platform, right? And he just mentioned the possibility of double-digit, if not higher yields. That's not coming from some random person in this game. You have to understand that for an institution, a professional player to onboard onto his platform, they probably had some form of communication or were hinted to some degree that some regulation on the back end allowed for them to do so. They know something that we don't know, and they're telling you this stuff in their panel discussions. Mind you, this panel was uploaded 1 day ago and has 56 views. And I can almost guarantee that probably half of the people that have watched this video are from our private community. So nobody knows about this. This is nuts. Just like he said, this stuff is not priced into the market yet. Once everybody realizes and the whales start to realize, oh my gosh, we can earn yield in a regulated manner, in a secure manner, so much, like, I can't even just imagine what's about to happen, not only to digital assets across the board, but to just the price appreciation of assets like XRP. Put remittances aside, put cross-border payments aside, put all that aside. DeFi, again, gives a certain aspect of utility to said digital asset. And there's so many assets that have just been people been complaining about and yapping about because, again, think about it. It's all a psyop. It's a fucking psyop. These XRP influencers have been telling you guys for fucking 6 years now, $10,000 XRP, da, 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 da. But the infrastructure was not ready for that. It wasn't. Okay. It was not ready. And it still, to some degree, is not ready. DeFi is about to front run all of that. DeFi is about to bring utility to XRP that will unlock before XRP is fully adopted for remittances for cross-border payments on a granular scale. Because these institutions, in order to get access into the space, need to be earning yield on assets that they hold. Again, to full circle back to what I was saying, not every institution is both buy and sell side or commits to arbitrage trading. So some institutions just need to hold. And in order for them to do so on their balance sheet, they need assets that are not liabilities. They need yield generating assets. This is huge. Anyway, so yeah, that's all I got. Aquaman, blessings. Appreciate you on the call today, man. You're freaking this was a great call for people that like gems.
Yeah, brother. Yeah, I appreciate you as well. And yeah, we shared a lot of gems. I really look forward to having more of these conversations every Friday, and having guests on and continuing this conversation. And everybody that's out there tapped into us, share this out far and wide, to others that are tapped into crypto, because everybody deserves to really know the truth about what their digital assets can really do for them, as opposed to getting hung up in, just, pointless debates about BTC versus XRP type of, garbage, when you should be having conversations about, hey, we can earn yield over here. We can earn this over here. I can borrow against my asset over here, and all this opportunity for us to really just, get ahead. So I appreciate all of our viewers. Much love to all you guys. And yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, man. I think that right now we're in a very interesting turning point where people that, it's crypto is very tribal. I get that 110%, but we're entering into a borderless environment where, these imaginary lines that have separated us for so long on a map are becoming they're dissolving, right? They're dissolving physically, spiritually, everything's dissolving. We've already been connected, to each other globally through communication with the era of the internet. And now we're in the process of really transitioning over to the financial aspect of that. And people don't understand that money is energy, right? And it's a very big part of our globe, regardless if you agree with it or not, or it's part of the matrix or whatever it is that you believe in. It is necessary to thrive and survive in the ecosystem that the elites, whatever you want to call them, have built for us. And so it is important that you not only master spirituality, your physicality, your mentality, your personal life, and just being a successful person. But a big part of that success is properly understanding finances and understanding the wave of innovation that is being integrated with finance and DeFi, crypto, generating yield, where to park your digital assets, what to do with them, how to secure them long term, how to put it in a trust, how to, taxes, all that stuff. It's very complex, and it's a portion, it's all a bundle, right? And it's happening. And if you ignore that and you think it's just going to be I'm going to put my money on my phone and just wait and I'm going to be successful 5 years down the road and do nothing. That's not a strategy. You need a strategy. You need, a community. You need people that are like-minded, that are going through the same thing that you can learn from, bounce ideas off of, and grow with. And if you don't, you're susceptible to possibly being manipulated, being lied to, being scammed, getting left behind, making the wrong choices because you're so tapped into with your emotional side of things. And that's not how you survive. That's not how you thrive. So if you want to thrive, if you want to, again, last beyond 2030, come tap in with us here at CYPRX, right? At the end of the day, we're here, we're a community of like-minded individuals with real experience in these markets, and we're just here to help at the end of the day. So if you guys enjoyed, do us a favor, smash that thumbs up button, subscribe to the platform. If you're watching this as a recording, anybody that wants to tap in with us, you guys can tap in with the Discord. You can tap in the Wealth 28 Club. Head over to CYPRXtrading.com, guys and gals. We'd love to have you on the team. Outside of that, many blessings. Aquaman, I'll see you next Friday. We got some good guests, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, in May. But yeah, see you guys on the next Friday call. Everybody take it easy.
Much love, everybody.